right, man. Welcome everybody. This is another new episode. We're gonna try and bust these out a lot more frequently, hopefully. But this is our best of 2021, our top three. Yeah, Viking. Especially for Nick.
Anthrax fucking sucks.
Ouch. Is that the pentagram, Zeke?
It is.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Which I think Anthrax uses nowadays too, don't they?
Yeah, in that one album.
Yeah.
For All Kings.
Yeah.
For All Kings, right?
I think they used it before that even a bit, didn't they? Wasn't it like on We've Come For You All or something? It was.
Yeah, but like the pentagram is like the A.
Yeah.
The A in it. But yeah, no, this was Nick's idea to do the kind of just choose our three out of our usual top 15 that we do on the Brave board, which I know a lot of us, we do way more than 15. We'll do 15 and then a ton of honorable mentions.
With 45 honorable mentions.
But I don't know, man, this year I get excited every year. There's always something that surprises me. And, you know, with one of mine, there's definitely going to be a big surprise. Or it was a big surprise for me. But this year was great. I mean, I don't know, man. I see a lot of people complain all the time every year. Like, oh, there's
every year it's like, oh, this is a shitty year for metal.
Yeah. And I'm like, looking at
it's two camps. It's either this was the best year for metal I can remember, or
This sucks.
This sucks. Nothing came out this year.
I'm just glad.
Yeah, it was a great year. Totally great year. It took a while it was a slower start for me, but once it hit like May, June, a bunch of stuff came out. A bunch of really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm just glad Nick didn't choose the episode of All Right, Guys, choose your top 25 Romanian avant-garde pagan black metal.
I could have done top 50.
And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to Jason, I'm actually like, I got to say, you've been getting into some different stuff.
I have been.
Especially one of your top.
Usually, I thought when you got older, you just put the blinders on and just go, it's new tankard. Yes, it's coming.
Well, you still do that, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, it's like even one of your choices. I was like,
one of my choices.
I was down with it. I thought, we'll get to it.
Whereas your other two,
Yep.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, I get excited every year. I mean, obviously, there's going to be better years than others, but
I'm going to be honest. This was my least exciting year, and that was not because of necessarily the music. I just, I went from buying, I have a few dozen at least new releases a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen, to like less than 5 albums, and it's like, and like I said, 2 of those were Maiden, and then that's not on my list.
Is that because the music that was out there, or just your lifestyle right now? You just don't have enough time for it.
I think it was just, I think it was probably, the start of the year because I don't even think I did a list last year, and I didn't really do a list this year. That was like first 2 years in 20 plus years that I didn't make a list, and it's probably lifestyle a bit, but I'll definitely be doing it again this year, like actually buying more albums and that kind of thing, because I've already got a couple pre-orders out, and I'm just paying a little more attention, going back to like that thread with like what to look for in 2022, because that'll always bring up some random ones that I would never probably hear about, and then it'll force me to check them out, and I'll know like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that, or no, I'm not my thing.
I think I bought about 92 albums this year that were from 2022, and probably another 30 from previous years. So
I'm disappointed in you, Nick. You didn't get it to 100.
No, I tried, but
you could find like 8 Bulgarian obscure accordion.
I probably could have, but
what's that Facebook page that you follow? I mean, one that you referenced, the
Folk Middle Grove.
Yes, the Grove.
Yeah, which is so I don't even know why I follow because I'm so like out of folk metal these days because it's just gotten so oversaturated and so just bad. So I mean, I only follow like some of my old favorites like Arcona and whatnot, but pretty much folk metal is mostly dead to me except for the ones I already like. But yeah, I've already got like 7, 8 albums that are pre-ordered for this year, so we're off to a good start.
Yeah. No, I know there's a lot of releases supposed to come out this year. Of course, we keep hearing about the new King Diamond, but
Sure.
it's like, yeah, at some point you got to like shit or get off the pot. And then I don't. I went with a couple friends and saw him recently. The last time they were in Cleveland, that he came to Cleveland, he's awesome, man. Awesome. It's like one of the best shows you
Yeah,
could
I mean,
see now.
just you have Andy LaRocque. Just have him write the songs, and you do the vocal melody, and it shouldn't be that goddamn hard.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, it was years ago that he was like, "Oh yeah, we got a Merciful Fate King Diamond DVD coming out," and it's kind of like a running joke with some of my friends and I because we're always like, "Yeah, that was like 2000, 2001. You said you were coming out with it or something, and it's just been year after year, and I don't know, but Pat, have you bought just the 5 or you bought other albums? It was just
No, I bought other albums. I mean, I'm always like filling in gaps, or if I find out about something from previous years, I still buy. I don't buy as many CDs because I do so much more streaming, but I still, if it's an album I really like, I feel kind of obligated to buy it, even though it may stay in the shrink wrap these days, depending on,
Mhm.
because I don't, the only place I could listen to that's up here where I record this, and I never spend any time up here anymore. And that's where all my CDs and all my vinyl is up here.
Mhm.
So I'm, either in my car or I'm downstairs.
Mhm. No, I haven't even made a list of what I bought this year, outside of the new releases. But it's always, I'm kind of the same. I'm always kind of filling in gaps, and I'm a
You're
sucker.
good at filling in gaps, man.
Nick, I always have to call on Nick to like pronounce the names for me, but the Polish band from, albums you need to hear, or
Poipoa or whatever.
yeah, is that March?
Oh, I don't know. Is it even? I don't even think it's on pre-order
I think
yet.
well, see, because they hardly ever update anything, but when they do, you have to do the translate thing, and it's not always clear, but I saw something that I think had March on it.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Because I keep looking, because that's one I'm going to pre-order or whatever, whenever that's available, because I want to definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
September. You're close.
Oh God! So remind me in August.
Oh, God.
I don't understand. They record something and like it was back in December. Like, okay, it's gonna take 10 months in post.
No,
like,
but that was even like, I want to say that was a month after that episode, which was 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And they were then like, because then I started following them, and then it was a picture of them, and it was like 2 songs done or something, or we're in the studio, and I was like, oh, cool.
well, yeah, I'll set a reminder.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the new tankard's in September too. And I'm like, really, guys, 7 months for tankard. It should take them 48 minutes to record. And just give the guy some construction paper and crayons and draw a cover. You just print a couple of copies and send it into Nuclear Blast, and buy some plastic shrink wrap, and it should be out by Monday.
Kip, you should start submitting shit to Tankard with your Adobe. You can just start. That's your practice. Those are your dry runs. You can just
You like old school MS Paint. And just
Anyway, that's a great group on Facebook to follow. Is metal album covers done in MS Paint.
Yeah.
There was a thread probably 15
There
plus
was.
years ago on that because I remember I did like, I have them saved somewhere, but I did like Surf Nicaragua, Running Wild's Gates to Purgatory, and one other one. But it was actually kind of fun, you know.
It's great.
I meant to text you today, Jason. I saw that John Cyrus and Agent Steel are going to be doing a U.S. tour.
Very nice.
So I don't know if
I will definitely bring my earplugs to that show.
Is Anthrax opening?
you know, I got to be honest with you, man. That last album that they put out, was it 2021 that came out, or 2020?
Yeah.
That's a 2021 release.
2021. No Other Gods.
They
Before
didn't
Me or
wait
something
till
like that.
September. They put that sucker out in like January or February.
Well, that I thought it was really good. I mean, his vocals are kind of, I got used to it, but musically, man, it rips.
Yeah.
A good album. So I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of, it rubbed me the wrong way when I listened to it, and then I went back to it a few times and thought it was okay. But then, to me, they're one of those bands where I listened to it and then I'm like, well, shit, I'm just gonna go back to Unstoppable Force.
Force, yeah.
You know,
Or
it just,
Skeptics Apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah. I even like all of the later stuff, like Order of the Illuminati, the Omega Conspiracy with, I remember Bruce something was the Bruce Hall maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I like all that stuff. I mean, they had Bernie Versailles and Juan Garcia was still in the band, and they were still, which they did what? Not Agent Steel, isn't it like Masters of Metal? And they split.
That I don't know.
Some corny name called like Masters of Metal, and so that's like the actual band that was Agent Steel, but then Cyrus took the name and did.
Yeah.
But,
That's almost as stupid as some guy just getting on a message board and calling himself Metal King.
when there already was a Metal King on that message board.
Masters of Metal sounds like something fucking Ripper Owens is part of or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see that? Speaking of corny names, we in a previous episode we were talking about that Three Tremors or whatever it's called. Did you see the little? God, it was an ad. It must have been for the tour, but it's like the cartoon drawings of the three of them.
mm-hmm.
Oh, and like Sean Peck is over there with. Yeah, it's worth looking up. I didn't even save it because I was gonna send it, but I was like, I didn't even want it on my phone.
He just, like I always love the dude. There's just something about him. He's a hometown guy, but
Yeah.
I love his voice. I think he's great on KK's Priest. He's great on a lot of stuff, but he always has this tinge of like Kmart metal. It's just kind of generic. He always has that Monster Energy fitted cap. I don't know. It's but whatever.
Makes good wings though.
Yeah, his old bar was just a wall of just wing flavors. And he was just like walking around talking to people the whole time. I don't know. He was a nice
Yeah, I'm sure he's a good dude.
but yeah, we got real quick though, February 11th is that the Amorphous?
That's the Amorphous, and I think February 4th is Saxon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Nick's favorite
Sabaton influenced band there.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking here. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. Stuff that, I don't know. Stuff I mean, the new Crowbar's coming out. I know you might be into that.
I'll probably end up with all three of those albums. The Saxon and I'll get the Amorphous, even though I don't have.
You're halfway to last year's total, just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
What about the new Violence this year? You're going to be.
Oh yeah. I think that's just an EP, but
It is.
oh yeah, that's That's even if that first song was total trash, I still would have bought it.
Oh, wasn't it the song they just came out with, or the very first one that was kind of like,
Yeah, the first one. I haven't listened to the second one.
oh, the newest one's actually really, really good. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm pretty pumped for June, the new Porcupine Tree. I'm probably the only fan here.
No, I'll end up at least listening to that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you heard the new track?
Mm-mm.
Dude,
Nope.
awesome. I'm surprised Nick isn't into them more, especially with just the musicality of the band and Gavin Harrison on drums, who's like one of my top drummers. And I don't know, that's going to be exciting. It'll be a good episode next year. Maybe we can get Pat up past 5.
Yeah, I'll get a list of 15 this year.
Well, yeah, we can start our little round table here. I don't know. Let's have Pat go first. Just kind of we'll start with one and then just go kind of the old way.
All right.
Choose the good one. Choose the good one.
I'm gonna go with Asphyx, Necroceros, or whatever, however you pronounce it. And honestly, up until a week ago, I only knew what my top album of the year was. And I really had to go back and look at everything that I'd listened to over the course of the year and then pare that down to about 7 albums and then pick 2 from those 7. And this one kept rising to the top because as Nick would say, he likes a good dick ripper. And to me, Asphyx is always that kind of band. You know what you're gonna get when you put it in, and it's all that, the riff and the guitar tone, it's just dirty yet clean. And then Van Drunen's vocals, to me, they haven't put out a bad album, and it's, they've got the song Mount Skull. It's got this nice slow start and then picks up a little bit. I think it's 3 Years of Famine. It's got this little mellow interlude in the middle of it, and then it kicks back into kind of classic Asphyx. But yep, that's definitely one of my top albums with my limited resources this year. Not limited resources in like I just kind of didn't listen to a lot of new stuff.
You mailed it in. You mailed it in this year, just like Asphyx did on that album. Oh. No, I was kidding. It's a great album.
Yeah, and it's, to me, that they're a band that's, like you could say about certain bands, whatever people always reference back to AC/DC. It's like they kind of put out the same album, at least these last few to me have been like that. But that's kind of what I want from them. I don't need them to go. I don't need them to be like a band like Amorphous or Enslaved, where they're kind of over every few years shifting a little bit and doing this, adding new elements. That wouldn't be interesting to me for Asphyx.
No, it's like Asphyx, Grave is another one, Dismember. I expect something. I expect a certain sound, and that's what you're going to get. And Martin's great. I love all Asphyx albums, even the ones without Martin.
Yeah. I mean, those aren't bad. I like them too, but I hardly ever go back to any of the old Asphyx, even the early Van Drunen stuff. I usually just I almost always go to Death the Brutal Way, is the one I always end up going, and maybe Death Hammer a little bit. And honestly, they have the one between Death Hammer and this one that until 3 weeks ago, I don't even think I knew existed. So I checked that one out too. And I was like, yep, it's Asphyx,
He's on.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so, it sounds just like them, but on the board, like a lot of people are kind of trash talking it, not trash talking, but just like, it was a little bit underwhelming. And I thought
pedestrian white noise is trash talking.
Yeah. I mean, but if you're a fan of them, then it doesn't disappoint, like you just said. So,
great. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, because they're not a band like we talked about in the last episode, like Amon Amarth, where they kind of became parodies themselves. They just kind of been just
yeah,
plugging out. It's kind of like Overkill, it's some albums are better than others of the last 5 or 6, but they all sound like Overkill, and there's not nothing's gonna really surprise you.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're not trying to follow trends, and they just kind of do their own thing. And I mean, I love Martin Van Drunen's vocals. I usually think, Jason, if you like Death and you're starting to
Yeah,
sing,
he's got a
I mean, he rules, dude. Gray hair.
Yeah.
Rules. He
it's
rules.
weird because I was also thinking about this, but a band like Asphyx is almost like now also would be considered blue hair,
Yeah.
because and I don't think of them like that, but yeah, it's a total blue hair type pick.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
When was their first album? 89?
early 90s.
30-year-old band.
I mean, if you like have you checked out the first Amorphous album yet? No?
Oh, the Carillion Isthmus. Yeah. Yeah, I've listened to it.
If
I haven't purchased it.
you like that,
You know,
you should have.
one of my coworkers actually gave me Tales of a Thousand Lakes. He's our new I totally forget the title of his job, but he owns Sewer Rot Records, and yeah, he played in Skeletal Remains for a little while. Frank Heredia. Yeah, he's not mentioned. I looked it up on Metal Archives, and his
He's
name
lying.
mentioned.
He's bullshitting you.
But he was in there for 15 minutes.
Wow.
But yeah, he's like, I've got many copies of Tales of a Thousand Lakes. Here, take this one. So I think I have it in the car actually.
He gave you the Russian bootleg.
It's very cool. Yeah. Yeah, or I take my fingernail and the color comes off of the CD. Just starts to flake off.
Well, at least it's got Amorphous on it, so it's not like one of those Russian bootlegs that you put in and it's a totally different band.
Yeah, yeah. It's 12 minutes long.
But yeah, no, that's a great start, man. New Asphyx. So,
Jason, did you listen to a little bit of it?
I did. I actually listened to the first 2 songs of the album on the way home. So I mean, it doesn't grab me like Death does. So obviously a death metal band. I probably won't go back to it. So
I'll send you some stuff, especially from Hail of Bullets, which is Martin.
Yeah,
Maybe give it a shot.
yeah. If you like Sabaton, you should love Hail of Bullets.
Yeah, especially lyrically.
That was always my gripe with Sabaton. I was like, hey, the lyrical content is great, but like
Yeah.
if I'm hearing songs about war, I don't need I do like a couple Sabaton songs. I mean, they're cool, they're catchy,
Sure.
but if I'm hearing an album that's about war, I don't want it to sound fucking happy. And Hail of Bullets does not sound happy. It sounds like a fucking SS Panzer Division, sweeping across Russia.
Yeah. Well, the new Sabaton single definitely sounds like a Disney movie. It's the next Disney cartoon. So
Sure, they're going to be pairing up with Amorphous for a
so
tour.
they are absolutely expanding,
They were
and
born
I mean, and good for them though. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
to me, it's like a Monomarth. They're doing their thing and they're drawing crowds. And,
they really are.
yeah.
I mean, my God, they have their own cruise now. There's a Sabaton cruise. I mean, yeah, it's on a, it's
I'd
on
love
a,
to get Nick.
it's on a
that.
pontoon boat, but
I'd
hey,
love to
it's,
get Nick on. I'd like to have a video crew walk around with Nick on that cruise, so he could just catch him talking to people, get a few drinks in him, get his 30 ounces of cranberry vodka, and then start talking to people. Like, going up to people in Anthrax shirts and
Hey, you buy the ticket, I'll be there, man.
Well, who's next? Who do we got? Jay.
Go next. I'll go next.
Okay.
All right, let's see. My first one is one of those old school German thrash bands that really nobody knows about. They're under the radar. Everybody's about Sodom and destruction. But this band kind of left for a while in the 90s. The singer-songwriter, I forgot once again to study or to read up on him. I know he's gone through some medical issues, some major medical issues within the past 10, 15 years. But they put out an album this year, and I kind of followed them when they came back. They put out two albums in the 80s, and then they disappeared for 12, 13 years. And then in 2000, it was either 2000 or 2001, they resurfaced. They've been kind of off and on. He puts out an album every 5 or 6 years, and I got them all. And this album is really the best one of the 2000s. And it's the best album since the first album. He named this album after the first album. So
didn't you name it after the
like a
second album?
sequel. What's that?
Didn't you name it after the second album?
I don't know. What does that mean?
Because isn't Heresy the second album?
No. Well, Heresy is their second album, but the name of this album is Heresy 2, and the name of the band is Paradox. So it's a long album.
Yeah, that was kind of my complaint with it. Like,
yeah, it is.
because I didn't spin it until you put it on your list, and I was like, I didn't register that they had a new one, and I started listening to it, and I was like, this is pretty decent, I liked it. And then I was like, holy shit, this thing is still going on, and it's like hour and 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
or something.
it's a 75-minute album. 8 first tracks, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, and then a 4.5 and then a 9.5 minute song.
Yeah,
A couple of interludes in between. Yeah, it's long.
I think it's great, man.
Yeah,
So-
it's his lyrics as far as Heresy goes. It's about the European Cathars, a religious movement in the, I think, 13th century Europe. And I think musically it's really strong. And maybe Charlie should just write lyrics about the Cathars. Maybe Heresy 3 needs to be next.
No,
Yeah.
Heresy 3 is going to be 13th century mail service.
I've got a CD here about 13th century catheters.
I thought I read, I can't remember if it's Paradox or not, but the guy that helped write their lyrics, that was like not in the band, but he helped them write the lyrics, just recently passed away.
Okay.
And I thought it was Paradox that they said that he's like one of those guys that was just friends with the band and he was super close to him. I'm
Could very well be.
leaning towards Paradox. I thought maybe it could be Scanner, because
Okay.
I get them
You
kind
get
of
them mixed up. Yeah.
but this was killer, man. I mean, this is
Yeah, it's super fast. I mean, there's not a slow song on the album.
no.
I was pretty taken aback by I wasn't expecting like the neoclassical style shredding on it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, pretty good riffs, and then the solos were just blistering, like way more advanced than normal thrash solos.
Mhm.
Almost had some of that Nevermore Jeff Loomis style of shredding going on.
That's, I mean, because they've always been like thrashy, but they've always been a little more also traditional, or whatever you want to call it, with, they've never they're not like Exodus, they don't, or they're not like, as Jason would say, they're not your Destruction, you know, your
No, they're not.
Tankard, your Sodom, you know.
I guess the melodic. They're very melodic.
Yeah, they're more melodic for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of thought like, to me, I could, if I listen to this album, I could also listen to like Gamma Ray and stuff like that, because it's just super fast. And it was like power thrash to me, not like you said, Pat, not straight thrash metal like Exodus. Like there's something else, you know, to it, and I loved it. I knew it came out, and I just kind of ignored it, and you know,
Yeah. I think Paradox would have fit right into like the Prague Power Festival. They would have been.
I thought, didn't they play at one? They played at one.
Did they?
They either played at one or they were scheduled to play.
Scheduled.
didn't.
Yeah, and I don't.
It was
I don't
either, it was like
remember.
around the probably the Riot. What is it? They have a Riot. What's the Riot Squad?
Riot Squad album.
I think it was around that time frame.
Yeah, maybe because he had his medical issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that if you look at Metal Archives, not one Paradox album, the lowest rating is 84%. Every album's above that. 84% up to like 90, 91%. So yeah, they haven't put out a lot of albums.
Yeah.
Buy the whole catalog and guaranteed it's going to be a ripping album. So
If you're into that music.
yeah, no, I know that I just read that Product of Imagination DC was supposed to get like a proper master kind of. So I'm kind of stoked.
I know Marquis put that. I think Marquis put that one out.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that's when I got the disc version of it. Was, you know, whatever that would be, like 2005-ish, 2008, maybe somewhere around in there.
But yeah, another excellent pick. Nick, you
Or
want
it might have been Metal Mind. I can't remember.
Metal Mind? No, it's Metal Mind, because
Yeah.
I do remember I have some Metal Mind remasters that I bought, and Metal Mind kind of
Took some of those. Yeah.
it was like all those old Road Racer and Road Runner.
Yep. That's
Them all out.
Yeah, I bought all that shit.
Yeah. You want Nick? You want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'll just start with my number one overall for the year. And as Pat said, it's not that it's something I've always said. I just came up with it this year for this album, and it ripped my dick off. Once again,
I'm
finished.
glad it's reattached. Thank
Yeah.
God.
John Wayne bought it too over here.
You were
Just
using
a,
one of those. You were using one of those 13th century catheters, and
Yeah.
it had like screws and like metal fucking shit. Took like 3 people to.
That's great. Anyway, yeah, finished Black Metal Supremacy on Werewolf Records, and pretty much anything I see on Werewolf, it's almost a blind buy for me without hearing it. Just gonna buy it because it's released to them. The exact opposite of Paradox. It's 7 songs at 35, 36 minutes or something like that. Morgul, Nightmare Lord, just wonderful. I mean, look at these gentlemen. You want to be friends with them. We have Lord Warmoon as the Dark Hell voice and Total Abyssic Thunder, SS Exiler, Barbaric Coffin's Bestial Holocaust, and Crusher plays the Pure Chainsaw Execution.
And don't forget that thing was recorded in the Satanic Metal Temple.
Yes.
All songs were recorded in the Satanic. All songs. They didn't dip out to the Folk Metal Grove for one song. They stayed in that fucking Satanic Metal Temple for the whole thing.
Yep, fucking great. Anyhow, yeah, it's catchy as fuck. It's blistering black metal, but there's some like twin guitar harmonies in it. It actually kind of reminded me of early Iron Maiden. There's like a little punk rock vibe to it. There's some just rock and roll riffs, some really memorable melodies and solos, and I don't know. It's just it's not rewriting anything, but it's putting a new fresh paint on some old stuff. When they got like through like maybe 3 songs, I'm like, okay, this is already my album of the year. It's just in your fucking face, no apologies, just finish supremacy. And if you don't, if you want to keep your dick, I suggest you do not listen to it. Not for everyone, but if you like just black metal in general and you want to hear something a little more unique, like I said, has almost a punk rock kind of vibe, like the fuck you attitude, like that old school 90s black metal stuff.
Yeah.
I totally liked it. It sounds great. It's one of those I would put on the list to probably buy, but it's also like I think it's on Hell's Headbangers, so I'd have to figure out how to get through the shipping.
Well, it's on Werewolf, but Hell's Headbangers just they get all Werewolf stuff.
Right, but Werewolf, then you're ordering from Europe, so then you're correct.
Yeah. No, this is I think Hell's Headbanger has just an agreement with Werewolf because they have all their shit.
Yeah,
and it's through Werewolf, but they send their stuff to Hell's Headbangers, and Hell's Headbangers,
right?
A plug for them.
I'm saying there's I just don't want to pay the Hell's Headbangers shipping.
Oh, the Hell's Headbangers shipping is like $350 or something.
Well, I guess
I wouldn't want to pay.
I guess I'm ordering it right fucking now.
It's like $350, and it shows up in like less than 72 hours. It's insane. Like I'll order it, and I get like 4 minutes later, get an email said it's already shipped or it's packaged ready to go.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I'll order stuff.
Well, you're like 4 blocks away too.
Yeah, it's right up the road, and it's like I know that's when Nick came out to visit. I was talking to a buddy of mine, my buddy Anthony. Anthony was like, just go out there, just call him, just order, and just say you're going to come pick it up. So Nick and I went out to the warehouse. And it's like, in this, just normal, like little business park. And then we walk in and they're just blasting death metal.
Nice.
And,
on the outside of the warehouse, does it say dick ripping warehouse?
no, but the cover of this is actually awesome because it's Joe Patagno. That's how you say his name. The guy,
Motorhead guy.
Motorhead, yeah.
Yeah.
And the cover rules, and it doesn't look to me like cover doesn't. When I listened to it, I thought it was going to be death metal or something, but it was awesome, man. And that drummer, I was like sweating after listening to that drummer. I was like, my God, dude.
Yeah.
I dug it.
And I only listened to, like, on the way home, it was one of those where I listened to a song and a half, and I'm just kind of driving, through a windy, sleepy hollow coming home. and I'm like, yeah. And I'm driving and I'm looking down, making sure my dick didn't get ripped off. So everything good. And yeah, of all the instruments, yeah, I was like, dude, this drummer is just, how fast can you play?
Yeah, and he's this tub in the middle too.
Just
no, I mean, it was
never underestimate the power of a satanic metal temple.
Absolutely.
When it comes to performance.
Oh, it was excellent, man. I loved it.
I think the second I first heard that, I immediately texted that link to you. Said, just get on this shit.
No, and you got the T-shirt. You got it.
The long sleeve. I had to get the long sleeve with them on the back, and it just says satanic metal.
Yeah. Well, you guys got to order more stuff off of. For you, Jason, they got Hell's Headbangers has about 73,000 hunt.
Yeah, they do. So, yes,
it's also like that's a page when it's like you're starting to go through and looking at shit, you're just like, holy shit, I could look through this forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pat, I think you're confused because at first it gives you like USPS like for $12, but if you go to the very bottom, it just says USPS, no clothing, CDs only. It's like, I think it's $3.50.
All right. I'm back on it after this.
There you go.
There's a lot of options that you can choose from. So I think.
Yeah, but even just the cheapest one, the stuff I get comes in. Seriously, the longest thing that something's taken has been like 5 days. I just got something from them with MLK weekend, and it still got here like in 2 business days. It's insane.
It's nuts.
That'd be great if you can like work Nick's name into like the website and just have a little area called the Caldwell Dick Ripping Specials. Just a bunch of Morgul.
No, it's excellent. I'm glad you mentioned it because it's on my list along with Paradox. So,
You're welcome.
well,
You're up, Kip.
I'll do the painful one first. We'll get that out of the way.
Nick, is this when we're gonna like pound beers? Is this when
Yeah, I think I got to take a piss real quick. Go ahead, Kip. I'll be back.
All right. So,
These guys are brutal.
I'm not into this style. Okay. Anything that has core attached to it, I'm always like, other than like old school hardcore, I'm like, ugh, metalcore, not into it, that much. There's things I enjoy here and there. Kill Switch Engage, like Alive or Just Breathing, that album I think is amazing. So there's things here and there that stick in my mind as they that stand out. Deathcore, no. It's trash. I can't stand it. It sounds like a bunch of douchebags with gauges in their ears that never listen to death metal, that play, hey, this is what we think it would sound like. And
You're describing this album perfectly.
but this just I read a review and I like the album cover a lot, and it just kind of grabbed my eye. It's kind of simple, but it's different. I like the colors. And then I read a review where somebody was like, kind of felt the same way I did. Like, if you're an old school metal guy and you don't really like deathcore, you should listen to this, because this band really kind of grew. So I checked it out, and like that, I was hooked. The first song, I was like, this isn't deathcore at all. This is like melodic death metal. Then there are some deathcore elements to it on a couple songs, but that's Whitechapel, Kin. This easily could have made my #1 album of the year if it wasn't for the #1 that I actually have, that I'll talk about later. But something about it, just the drumming on this was insane. Which was Alex Rudinger or Rudinger. I don't know how you say his name. He's not in the band anymore. I don't think he was ever officially in the band. But just the guitar playing was like tasteful. It was super melodic, like the solos. Then they bust into these like acoustic interlude. Phil Bozeman on vocals. I love his voice. Like the death vocals, I thought were super gutter, like they were just deep. They were bellowing. You could still understand what he was saying, though. It didn't sound like deathcore to me. And his clean vocals were excellent. And then I read somebody say, if this is anything core, it's like Opeth core. And I was like, yeah, I can kind of see that. The last song, Kin, just got me instantly. And my family here are probably sick of hearing it. I play the album all the time, but every song on it, there's so much diversity with the songs, from I Will Find You to Anti-Cure to History is Silent to The Wolves, a Blood-Soaked Symphony. I don't know. I think it's great.
You want to read the whole track list, there, buddy?
Yeah, a couple more. But I went back and listened to the other stuff. Not into it. It's because it's what I thought that the band was. It's just kind of shitty deathcore. I can't get into it. This, it was like, no disrespect to them, but it was like they just thought, you know what, we can actually play our instruments and we can actually write good stuff. So why don't we just like do that? And then they just came up with this. I know the previous album kind of started this stuff. But this one, I think that
so you have other Whitechapel albums.
no, this is it.
So you just bought this based on that review,
Yeah.
or you checked it out and then bought it, or whatever.
Yeah. It blew me away. I was like, I know I got a couple of buddies I sent it to. That, in fact, a buddy of mine that was driving to the death show in Florida, that death tribute show, where they were doing like the different sets, and I hey, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm going to Florida. I'm going to that death show because he owns Chuck's guitar and all this crazy stuff. And he was going to have like a little display that he put up. And I told him about this, and he was like, send me the link and I'll call you back. About an hour later, he called me back and he was like, all right, dude. Feels the same way I do. Early stuff is trash, like just in our.
So you went back and listened to older shit
Yeah.
after you got into this record.
Yeah, because when I, if I hear a new band and I dig the new stuff, I'll go
You're
back
gonna, yeah.
check everything out. But when I went back, I was like, man, this is just not very generic and typical kind of deathcore. I don't like the vocals, the way that his cadence, it's like deathcore. They like the lyrics are really fast, like and it's like it just sounds corny to me. This was different, and I don't know, man. I know I tortured you guys through it. My wife bought me the long sleeve for Christmas and the short sleeve so I could wear one in the summer. But I love it, man. I think it's excellent. I'm hoping this isn't a one-off. I hope that the next album they continue this. But I like it when a band kind of does this. They kind of rise above that and really show their musicality.
I was kind of with you, Kip, for the first song. I thought that first track was actually palpable. I mean, it was like, okay, this is good. This is not what I was expecting. And then about after 2 or 3 more songs, it was just like, okay. To be honest, I couldn't make it past like track 5. But the first one was good. And then maybe they blew their load on that one. And then for me, it just went into that more deathcore. Like the first one, that first track, like you said, is more of that melodic death metal. I'm like, oh, this sounds like kind of older In Flames style, that Gothenburg sound. And then it went more into the Hot Topic sound.
I didn't make it to the last song, so I'm gonna have to check out Kin, because I've started this album twice and gotten about halfway through and then just kind of zoned it out and then went on to probably in the last week something that Nick likes. So
If Kin it starts out acoustic.
yeah, no, I'll check it out. I wrote it down to go back and just check out that track.
But it builds and then it kind of goes into this excellent guitar solo, and then it's really epic, but it's clean vocals, and it's a great way to kind of cap an album off. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys listened, at least gave it a shot as much as you could. I doubt Jason listened to any of it.
No, I got to the second song. So, hey, I got to the second song, and yeah, I was like, this is not for me at all.
So it's not so much a dick ripper for you, but you like grew 3 extra dicks.
Sure. And
That's from the vaccine.
And if you could find those, let me know, and I'll reattach them.
Well, just listen to the last song. Just go to Kin.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna check it out.
I'll do that for you, Kip.
Yeah, Without You is like an instrumental. Then it goes into Without Us. To the Wolves is like a deathcore song. Orphan is like Opethish, and same with Without Us, but Kin is absolutely my favorite track on the album. Which is funny because the old school Whitechapel fans, I think most of them are like, this is the best thing they've ever done. But there's some that you can tell are just, those kind of deathcore kids, and they're just like, this is trash, it's garbage. What's with the clean vocals, it's like, they're good musicians, man. They just wanted to write a better album, I guess. I don't know. It sounds really good.
I guess the deathcore kids are like just like any other metal fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. They sound like Metallica. Good musicians. They just need to write a better metal album.
But yeah, so that's it. Quick and painless, get it out of the way.
I do like the album cover. I don't like the font. I'm particular about fonts, and I thought the album cover was, I liked it.
Yeah. It's like almost like alien like kind of. I don't know, but
So
I
it's
dig
like photo by John Cyrus.
Yeah, I was gonna say Agent Steel with the aliens.
so.
I'm surprised it wasn't a hypocrisy cover.
Yeah.
Back to you, Pat.
All right. Also going to go with, this was an album that I did hear earlier in the year when it came out, and listened to it once and didn't think anything of it. And then a few months ago came back to it. Still wasn't really that sold on it. But then over the last few weeks, revisited it again. And I was like, didn't even sound like the same album that I'd listened to. And that's from Sweden, Portrait, At One With None. And this is a band I got into when their second album came out, because it was, I think, around the same time as In Solitude. When they came out, they were kind of lumped together as kind of, paying homage to Merciful Fate. That's how I heard about them, because I was like, oh, if they like, yeah, that's the one that I got into. And they have one before that I've never heard. Yep, never heard that one. I've got the other two I have, but I do have a little complaint about it. It's a little long. The songs are all like 7-minute longish, but it's just straightforward traditional metal with higher vocals. Another one that I actually never purchased but do have on order finally now, because I realized, like, yeah, I need to own this. I just, like I said, blew it off early on in the year, but I just think it's just quality traditional metal with maybe a nod to Merciful Fate, which I don't have any problems with.
Yeah, I got a battle metal feel out of it. I got a Manowar type feel out of it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it was first thing I thought too was, wow, there's definitely some King Diamond influence in here. And I've seen that logo around, and I've seen people post the album cover or just that logo. I never knew it was Portrait because it looks like it doesn't say Portrait to me. It looks like a and a U or something, but it was fucking great. Actually, I'm gonna spin it maybe once or twice again, and that's gonna be on the potential list buying. I really dug it. Like you said, just traditional metal.
Yeah.
Great hooks.
Very Merciful Fate-ish.
Yeah.
I think that's what got me to it the second one. Like
Doesn't it look like porch trout? Like the fish, porch trout, the logo.
The porch trout.
But I'm
Porch trout.
with Pat. I bought it, and I always loved the album covers, man. And it's like every album I see of theirs, I'll buy it. And this one I bought, and there was just so much other good stuff that it just kind of like kept kind of going down into the pile there that I just forgot about it. And then it was actually when Pat said, here's one album that, one of his 3. And I thought, man, that's kind of weird because I don't remember it really grabbing me. And then I listened to it, and it was the same thing. I thought, wow, this is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Like it was really good. I don't know. It's weird how sometimes you come back and things just click. And instant.
Next summer, I'm going to be walking around South Carolina in my Whitechapel fucking shorts and tank top.
Tank top.
Cut off sweats into shorts though.
Yeah. I actually have a Whitechapel belly shirt. Gut hanging out.
Whitechapel midriff.
No, this is great, man. This kind of a sleeper on Metal Blade, honestly. Like some bands like this are, I don't know, they deserve to be known a lot more, but I think it's great. And Jason, I think if you like this, you'll like all the other ones.
Yeah.
I think the first one's really hard to get. This is my favorite album cover of theirs, though. I thought that was great.
Crossroads.
Just so cool. But yeah, if you like that, and you'd like In Solitude as well, because
Yeah, In Solitude is, I think, a superior band.
Yeah.
And like it kills me that they broke up because
Mhm.
everything they put out was fucking quality
Mhm.
and it was a step above and shorter songs.
Yep.
Don't have a problem with long songs, but like they were excellent.
Yeah. Definitely. No, it's another excellent pick, man.
Jason listened to one song on it too.
I got through 2, and after that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to more of this. It's funny, a lot of Pat's picks, like, you know, over the course of the years, it's like there's like a lot of bands that Pat has introduced me to, and my next choice, I'm gonna make a short story long, and so I might as well just go right into that because going to the Prague Power Festival, I'm kind of like the lone, you know, before Nick, I was kind of like the lone ranger coming out of the West Coast. And what was my first year? I think it was 07. And I remember Pat wearing, you know, Fu Manchu shirts. And here I am. I had no idea who this band is. They had a member by the name of Eddie Glass, who apparently graduated at La Mirada a year after Designated Dale and I did. And, you know, I had no idea who they were. Years have passed. And then for some reason, I'm on YouTube, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I heard California Crossing, and I'm like, who is this? This is awesome. And it was Fu Manchu. And I remember Pat saying, oh yeah, they're a stoner rock band. And I'm completely clueless about what stoner rock is. I always thought stoner rock was like doom metal, except slower. You
It's like
know,
the Grateful Dead.
every song has to be like 20 beats per minute or slower. So, and just like up tempo, and it just like reminded me of like Ted Nugent on Speed. So
He's been on Speed before, trust me.
yeah, I'm sure. And so I bought my first Fu Manchu album like in Vegas, like the week that my son starts at UNLV. It was the live album. Go For It Live was my first Fu Manchu album. And you know, I know Nick doesn't like live albums, but I think
Or super groups.
it's super. Yeah, that's just a good word for it. And so I guess that's my infancy of stoner rock or stoner metal.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And so with you guys in the group, you know, I subscribe to the stoner pages on YouTube, and they'll always come on my page there on the left side. And this one came up, and I saw the name of the album. I listened to it. It's like, it's not up my alley at all, but it's super cool. And it's something that nobody would expect me to listen to or even like. And so I got on their Bandcamp page, and they don't have it on CD. It's only on vinyl. They're from Sweden. And I forget, I think the album was like 35 euros, which is between 40 and 45 bucks. And then they wanted another 15 euros for shipping. So for me to get this vinyl, it would have been around 55, 60 bucks. And I'm just like, nah, can't do it. I'll just continue to listen to, excuse me, Bushes. He likes to, by the way, this is my new cat. He came up to my door a couple of weeks ago, and I decided to keep him. So say hello to him. He's very friendly, except when he doesn't want to be.
You know, you could buy that vinyl for 60 bucks. You just have to give up 6 7-Eleven posters for it.
I haven't got a 7-Eleven poster in a long time.
We'll say
There
the
you go. Like you're in the hole, but I mean, you're in the green. You
Yeah,
got money to spend.
I do, for
There's
sure.
Name
For
of the
sure.
name of the band there.
Yeah, so anyway, the name of the band is, I think it's Maha Sahona, and the name of the album is Endless Searcher.
Mm,
About 5 tunes. I think it's 5 tunes, 40 minutes long. I guess I would label it as atmospheric stoner rock. I don't know, but it's not California Crossing speed, that's for sure.
No.
It's much more laid back.
No, it's like I'd never listened to it till you posted it, and it reminded me, like, kind of, it did bring back like the Out to Sea from Fu Manchu on Start the Machine. The kind of the instrumental on that album.
Mhm.
It has that kind of vibe. It's different, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh, like I know my neighbor would love this album, you know. So I'm gotta seek it out for less than $60 and get it for him when I lose my next bet with him.
oh man, I remember the album before this. I posted a song called Asteroid in the group,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and Jason, I think you're the guy that said somebody at your work listened to it and liked it or something.
Yeah.
I was like, and you were like, yeah, this is really good. And I thought, wow, that's cool that he likes that. It's a kind of, that's why I was saying earlier on that I get
Mhm.
excited because you're getting into all this new stuff. And this album rules. I mean, this is right up my alley.
It's really just, it's neat. It's cool.
It's like, if you like Maha Sahona, I'm going to send you some stuff by a German band called Samsara Blues Experiment. And I think you're going to like that too, because it's like the same thing. And they actually put out some live stuff. Samsara did. Somebody needs to sign them and put out an actual CD copy of these albums, because it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's cool.
I just listened to it. I'm not joking. I've listened to this album in full every day this week.
Yeah,
Just working. I'll just throw it on.
sure.
I love it, man. I mean, this is
It's not thrash metal.
no. That's why I'm like stoked, because I'm like, holy crap, man! This is, completely different than Paradox.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a dick ripper though? I think that's the big question.
Is it different than Morgul?
Yeah.
Sorry, my shit just froze for like 10 seconds there, but you guys are all back.
This isn't a dick ripper. This is a bong ripper. That's
No,
what-
yeah. I'm actually like, for my next pick, similar. Like, I can't believe they're not on the archives, because I looked them up. I'm like, why the fuck are these guys not on the archives? I mean, it has all the elements to be there.
Who's that? Maha Sahona?
Yeah.
I don't think they're metal. I think they're stoner rock, for the
Yeah,
same
it-
reason that Fu Manchu's not on there.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't like stoner metal as much. There's something about it that's a little less out, a little less
Yeah.
psychedelic.
See, Mustache is labeled, I think, as stoner metal.
Hmm.
And I heard them for the first time at Prog Power, and I'm like, oh my god, who the hell are these guys? These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Metal Archives has Ghost on there, but not like this kind of shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't-
No, I don't know. There is a page, kind of, I'll have to send it to you, Jay. It's like Metal Archives, but it's for stoner rock.
Okay.
So there's just all kinds of bands that I have to find. I think I have it bookmarked, that if you like this band, you'll like these bands, and kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
But no, I agree. This should be.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of these bands now, me being the blue hair, a lot of these bands now are on the Bandcamp, and they're like, download our album digitally. And I'm like, Larson does not do digital. Just give me the hard copy.
Mhm.
I don't care, vinyl or CD, just make something,
I actually have. They're signed to a label called Nasoni Records, which is German, I have a couple albums from different bands, kind of CDs that are on Sony, and I bought them through another distributor over here, so they weren't that much. But I've seen them on other sites, just astronomical. So it's almost like being in the late '90s and trying to buy an import. It's like $60 for an album.
Right.
That's like buying a sticker from Fu Manchu with shipping, $60.
Worth every penny.
Yeah.
You can use one to cover up your broken tail light there.
209, 60.
Yeah, I'm like $200 for a tail light or a Fu Manchu tee. Shipping. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I dig it. I think it's great. I mean,
Yeah, I was into it, man.
Very cool.
Not
that's one I'm going to listen to more. Just like when the weather's a little warmer, being outside, just sitting on the back porch. And
Drinking
just,
a beer.
yep.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Nick, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So like I said, this next one here is not on Metal Archives, but they should be. If you want to talk about another place that'll send you down a rabbit hole and you'll spend more money than you ever wanted to, a YouTube page is called Black Metal Production. I follow them, and yeah, I mean, once a day, they're pretty much releasing a new album every day, or they're not releasing it, but they're posting it. And you know, I'm probably buying a CD a week just from that goddamn YouTube channel. Anyway, that's how I found them. Australian band. When I first heard it, I started laughing almost. Actually, literally, I started laughing because it's the most bizarre, ridiculous sounding thing I've ever heard in my life. This is to be a conversation between Pat and I, apparently, by the way. But it's definitely there's black metal in there between the vocals and the guitar, but it's mostly just a piano playing. And in the mix level, the sound engineer had two channels: the black metal guitar and the piano, and he put the piano up to 80% and the vocals at 10% and the guitar at 10%. It's just the most upside down mixed album I've ever heard in my life.
I love it.
I mean,
I
a
love
band
that
called
mix.
Midnight Betrothed. Album is Dreamless. Songs like Stop Visiting My Grave are on here. A Snow-Crested Heart. It's romantic something. Black metal is what they call themselves, but it's just, if you want to hear kind of summoning.
And Nick, it's not a band. It's a guy called The Seer.
Yes. Here he is, the Seer.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. Yeah, if you like, it has a summoning type sound as far as very keyboard heavy, but you're pretty much listening to some dude play a couple of riffs per song on piano, and then very faintly in the background there's a very distorted just and then black metal vocals on top of it. It's I had to include, this is my number 6 of the year. You know, in hindsight it might even go higher, I don't know, but I had to make you guys all listen to it because I've never heard any band like this. There'll probably never be another band like this, not as far as the melodies he's creating, but just the obscure bizarreness of seriously the mix. Like it's 80% piano and 20% everything else.
Yeah, I fucking loved it because when you said, "Oh, I'm gonna make you guys listen to this one," honestly, within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because I guess that first song is just a little kind of intro, but once that second song
a
started,
house in the distance,
I was like, "Fuck, I'm buying this. I'm getting this. I loved it." I was just like, "This is great," and this would be on my list now if I was remaking my list. This would be my number 2 of the year of my 5 purchases. Yeah.
that would make it 6 purchases.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think this is awesome. I mean, I've listened to this more this week than anything else. This, and then I also picked up the 2 demos or whatever that he has mixed on the other album. I did order them from Australia from him through Bandcamp, so it was about $60. And then I just realized, oh, they're on Amazon. And I could have got it for both of them for about 30, but whatever.
Yeah, mine wasn't that much. I got it off his Bandcamp, and
Yeah.
it was probably like,
Mine were like $28.94 a piece.
oh wow.
Yeah. So he's either needs the money or he realizes there's this huge demand now that you've put him on your list.
Well, this is a limited edition of only 300 copies, so maybe there's only a few left. I don't know.
Yep. It'll say like only 13 remaining or only 18 remaining.
The price goes up with each one that sells.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I love it. I mean, my wife even kind of like whenever I play it, sometimes she'll say, "Oh, I like that," or she'll say, "Oh, you're listening to something really heavy," or "Oh, why are you listening to that?" Kind of like. But this, she was like, "I like it." She said, "This is interesting," because the first time she heard it, she came out, or I went into the room and I had it playing in the other room, and she said, "What are you listening to?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh, I thought you had two different things playing at once."
That's seriously what it sounds like.
Yeah,
it is.
but it's like, to me it's so catchy because those piano and keys melodies are just like awesome, and then you realize there's this other thing going on in the background, whether it's him shrieking, the guitars, and then also some drumming going on back there too. It's just like, this is awesome. This is like, I'm not one to go to rituals, but if this had a ritual, if the seer had a ritual, I would fucking go in a heartbeat. I would love it. I mean,
Yeah, it's almost like if you're at a festival and there's two venues and you're watching one band, but you can still hear the other band bleeding through.
No, Pat, when you said what your wife said about two things playing at once, as soon as I thought, okay, like I got to hear this. So when I put it on, it reminded me of like being in a car, and one car's blasting piano music, the other car's blasting black metal, and I'm just like,
and who knew?
like doing this the whole time, and I'm like, the piano parts are really good though. Like you could tell that they're actually like well written,
Yeah.
Not like he's just noodling on it. Like it's actual. The vocals, I think, are typical. Sounds like they were recorded in a cave, and he's like 50 feet away from the microphone. And I love that. It's going to take me a few more listens to kind of wrap my head around. I'm still like,
well, if you like it, look on Amazon. Do not go on Bandcamp. But I just honestly like.
Pat, I'm so happy that you're into it because I posted on the board. I posted with some other friends, and there's like, "What the fuck is this?"
And then it's honestly,
you immediately got it.
Of anything new I've heard in the last 12 months, this is of all the bands. There's two of them that have risen to the top, and this is one of the two, because it's like, now I want to know what's next. What's coming next. I mean, I know what's coming next, but I want more of it.
yeah.
I mean, I hate the name, I hate the song titles, but I don't give a shit because it's fucking awesome.
You said the one song was like something My Grave.
Stop visiting my grave.
Yeah, Stop Visiting My Grave.
That sounds like, what's that Woods song?
What, Dragged Across a Forest Floor?
No.
I Was Buried in Mount Pleasant Cemetery.
Yeah, I was buried in
In
yeah.
Mount Pleasant Cemetery.
It sounded like
Yeah.
Woods. It sounded like a Woods track.
Yeah, this doesn't sound anything like Woods.
No, I
although
mean-
although that Woods track does have piano in it.
No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the theme of.
Your Ontario town is a burial ground. That's it. That's it.
Larson, you get a Midnight Trial tattoo now on your back.
No, but yeah, eclectic is absolutely a great word for the band. I did listen to, I got into 2 or 3 tunes, and I'm like, are they like recording in like somebody's house, and they're recording in a kitchen? The guitars are out in the garage. So I'm like, I hope that sounds right. And then once you talked about the mix, I'm like, okay, I did hear what I heard. So yeah, it's bizarre. It's out there. Yeah,
But it's weird because it's bizarre, but it's also, to me, it's super accessible. Like, I don't know, it's just like all that
Yeah,
piano is.
Yeah, I think it's cool that Elise likes it. I mean, yeah, that's totally it.
But why the fact that isn't on Metal Archives? I don't get it. They have like
Yeah.
someone posted. I read through their message board, and someone posted like Metal Archives is not allowing Midnight Betrothed. They're putting their foot down on them for some reason.
Yeah.
But again, the Ghost is on there once again.
No, they don't want anybody to know about that Australian black metal.
True. That's what keeps driving their prices up. It's just more obscure.
No, that was an interesting listen, to say the least.
And it's short and sweet. It's like 6 tracks, 32 minutes or something.
Yeah, because whenever it's done, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go listen to those demos now, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the other album now. You know,
There you go.
I didn't hate it though.
It's no Whitechapel.
Yeah. Well, I'll bust into mine. This one was a hard one for me because this is like one of my favorite bands of all time. And the past couple of releases, it's I don't know if you guys have bands like this. If you have a favorite band, your expectations are so high that when you listen to a new album, it may take you a while to really get into it. I don't know. Sometimes I critique it like way too much. And so I kind of put it off for a little bit because I thought it's okay. They lost their longtime drummer. They put out some video that was about like the new band and saying I don't know, it was like really weird. It was kind of like melodramatic, talking about this is a new era of the band and there's going to be no drama. And I'm thinking this whole video was just kind of like soap opera-ish.
It's like that Dream Theater video when they audition all the drummers.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. But then I started hearing the songs and the guitar player, Ricardo, the album's Moonspell Hermitage. Ricardo, the guitar player, is an absolutely underrated player. I mean, he's an excellent guitar player. The new drummer is fine. I don't know too much about him. Fernando Ribeiro, the vocalist, is one of my favorite vocalists ever. He's got this insanely deep voice, kind of akin to Peter Steele. But then his death vocals are excellent. Anything the band's put out, that Moonspell's put out, I love. This one though, the songwriting's just really good. It's not as gothic for me. I don't know. I don't get like the feel. Maybe it's the lyrical content. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because I think that when I go back and I listen to the songs, the Hermit Saint is unbelievable. All or Nothing, Common Prayers. I don't know, man. It's just an excellent album. And I don't know. It probably could have made it higher on my list. A lot of great stuff this year, but I don't know.
I'm stoked that you showed that one because I've been out of the Moonspell loop for a few years. They're right next to me. I've got about 6 or 7 of their albums, but that's the first time I listened to it. And I don't know why I didn't give it a chance, but I listened to it. It's fucking great. I mean, it just sounds like classic Moonspell, but still sounding definitely fresh. I didn't know the drummer was lost, but the drummer I thought did a fucking great job. And speaking of that, just the production, it's probably my favorite produced album of all the ones we listened to. The snare drum on that album,
minus Midnight Betrothed.
Yeah. Just the production, especially on the drums. I could listen to just those drum tracks. The way that was produced is fucking great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've kind of shied away from newer Moonspell, but I'm really happy you made me listen to that one because it fucking ruled.
The last one they put out was it was one of the recent ones. It was all in Portuguese.
Mhm.
And I thought, it's good, it's okay, but I don't know. I was really happy with this.
The most recent I have is Antidote.
Wow. That's a while.
Yeah, 2003. Whoops.
They got some,
So
a lot of releases since, but
yeah, I mean, I've loved everything they put out that I own, and I just totally slept on them. So you kind of reminded me that I should definitely go back and fill in those gaps.
yeah, first time I ever got into them, I was actually it's when I lived in Portland, well, in Beaverton, and I had a Rip magazine, the metal mag, and in the back there was an ad for Irreligious, that album, and I just thought, oh yeah, and I thought it just said something like, I can't remember what the tag was, but it was like a Portuguese typo negative, like if you like Bloody Kisses or whatever, and I thought, I'll give it a shot. And I can't remember what the local record store was there that I got it at, but they had it, and I was like, holy crap. And ever since then, I've just been hooked on the band. But I figured out of any of mine, Jason, that you might enjoy this one the most, possibly.
I've seen them live. They toured with Amorphous and Dark Tranquility on that tour. When I saw Amorphous in Anaheim, I think it was 2019. So, and I remember, hearing them and listening to them, like, that band's pretty good. And then I kind of forgot about them. So when you mentioned them, I was like, yeah, I might dig it. And
Was he wearing a fishnet shirt, the singer? Because when I saw them like in 2008,
I don't remember, but he might have had that on. He might
and
have.
his man titties were kind of popping through. It was pretty great.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't, I try not to focus on man titties, when I'm at a metal show. I don't
There's
want
not a whole lot else to look at.
Yeah, the first time I heard them, Kip, was we talked about last time, the live, the live Century Media compilation, Live in the Dark, or
Yeah, if I can.
yeah, that's when I talked about Rod and Christ. At the same time, I heard Moonspell too, and immediately got Out of the Dark. Yeah, that's the first time I also heard Moonspell, and my brother and I went out and immediately got Irreligious as well. It just starts off with fucking Opium, just amazing. Yeah, I really dig this new album, so I'm gonna have to go pick it up for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to buy a special edition of it, because I've bought special editions of pretty much the last several albums. Anytime I can get my hands on it. In fact, the one I got is the one album, Extinct. I've never opened it. It's like an actual wood box. And I'd never opened it.
The wood box with a big chunk of styrofoam stuck in it with the priest.
Yeah, like the priest.
Yeah.
They just put a bunch of styrofoam inserts. No, I don't know. Yeah. This is a cool album too. But yeah, it's weird. This one's actually become probably the best one, my favorite that they've done in a long time. So I just
looked up. There's 7 albums that I don't own by them. That's my most recent one.
How many albums do they have?
How many total albums do they have?
Yeah, there you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
They got a lot.
13 looks like 13. Kip, this is like one of your top 10 bands, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and in fact, this is the very first thing I ever ordered online back in the late 90s. It had to be 96, 97. I got it off of Century Media. It's just a double EP, and they do
Wait, a double what?
EP.
So like a double EP, isn't that an LP?
they call it the Second Skin EP. It's like a double EP, but
Two separate EPs telling two separate stories.
but they have they do Sacred Depeche Mode cover on there.
The Sacred Skin?
Second Skin EP, yeah.
Second Skin. Okay. Yeah, Morgul has a Foreskin album, I think I just got. That was also ripped off.
Yeah. The Circumcision EP.
I'm assuming Moonspell is a band that has
Yeah,
played different styles, jump genres.
they do, man. They're all over the place. This is still my original copy from '96, signed by the band. Then I got this one off Century Media a while ago. Comes with a live show. It's like a little bit digibook. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of a sucker for anything Moonspell. So
They're a hard band for me because I just never, I listened to it again today, and I enjoyed it, but I'm just like, I don't own any Moonspell. I don't think I own any Typo Negative. So it's like, that's something that like never, I've heard tons of it. I've seen them live, but I just, other than on compilations, that's the only thing I own from them. And I can't place what it is, why.
yeah,
But like I said, this album again, when I listened to it today, was like, yeah, it's a pretty decent album.
the guitar playing is excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an album, like they're not a band that like puts me off.
There's just one in there called The Seer.
Now, if that disc was $30 from Australia and I had a little more piano, I'd be all into it.
That's my second pick there. I think we're back to you, Pat, for your last pick.
We are.
And I actually own a physical copy of this one. So I know I talked about this, maybe it was albums you need to hear or
Yeah.
best albums of the last 5 years. I can't remember which, but this was someone I'd never heard of, wasn't familiar with the name. And I got it from my neighbor in a bet. And our bets are always whoever loses has to get the other person a disc that they think they might enjoy. So it might be something you might be familiar with, or it might be something you're not familiar with. And, after reading about them, you're like, oh, I think they'll like this. And this came in the mail and I was like, oh yeah. And like I said in the last episode, I said, oh, this is going to be like kind of something. Like I saw it and I thought of like Wino, when I saw that cover, and I thought, oh, this is going to be some kind of doomy album, and it's not. It's Amigo the Devil, Born Against. It's mostly acoustic with other instruments. However, when he plays live, it's mostly just him with one instrument at a time. But this was an album that after 2 songs in, I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I got to see what else this guy's done, and bought the rest of his anthology. But this would be my top album of the year of the sparse handful that I've purchased. And it's just, now he's someone that I can't wait to see what he does next, because I've listened to all his old stuff. And then this current album, which isn't my favorite of his now that I've listened to everything he's put out, but it's something I'd never really heard that style before. I do like a little bit of country, but it's not country, it's more folky. And I don't know, it's just, I love the lyrical content because he's a great lyricist and sings about serial killers, but also kind of just about personalities. But the way he ties it together and the way he packages it it's very catchy, but very somber usually too.
So good. I'm so happy that you put that one in there, because I hadn't listened to it since that previous episode. It reminded me that I fucked up and I need to listen to that more. Yeah, so I listened to it again today, and that's when I was in guitar class. So I learned that last song, "Letters from a
Death Row. Yeah.
Letters from Death Row. Such a fucking hauntingly beautiful, somber song. Jesus Christ. Like I said last time, yeah, I like it. I like definitely the more serious songs. He has a couple of songs on there a little kind of silly.
Goofy.
Yeah, but fucking great. And I'm pissed that I didn't go see him. You said he's coming to Portland, and then I don't know. I didn't put it on my calendar, and then by the time I remembered, he was already gone. But I'm sure he'll be back for sure. But that's such a fucking great album, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, we saw him back in October, and my wife's she doesn't go to a ton of shows, but she said it's the best, probably the best show she's ever seen. Which and it was weird because she was standing next to me, and we were, probably about 10 feet from him on the stage,
Wow.
and like she was like singing lines from every song that he did that night, and it was weird because I've been to shows with her before where she's like, or even if it's a band, like I'm going with her because it's something she likes, 5-6 songs in, she's kind of like, I'm good, I'm good, or it's, the mix isn't good, so it's all kind of like a wall of sound, and if you're not really familiar with the song, but like, it was just,
That's impressive for a one-man guy to be the best show she's ever seen.
yeah, I mean, and she's seen people, we've gone to different shows of bands that she really likes or artists that she likes, and she said, I think that's the best show I've ever seen, and I'd go see him again.
Is he his vocals, are they as good live?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
I'm Nick, I really like the serious tunes. I think it's the first song. Is it towards the end when he really kind of,
Yeah, when he kind of does the Elvis-y croon.
and like when I heard that, it blew my mind. Like, and some of the songs, is it Murder at the Bingo Hall? Is
Yeah.
that it really reminds me of Tom Waits. Some Tom Waits stuff, and I can't do Tom Waits.
Yeah, I'm not a Tom Waits fan either.
But the serious stuff, I thought, I love the album cover. I love his voice. And I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I really liked about half the album, and then I really disliked the other half. But the half that I liked, I really, really liked. So it was like a weird album, another weird album like Midnight Betrothed. But and when you put this on, I thought, yeah, like he talked about this in another episode. For some reason, like it's just some of them are starting to blend in. I thought, is this really 2021? But yeah,
Yeah, it was March, I think.
yeah.
I think it came out in March, and I got it in April. Yeah, if his previous full length, Everything Is Fine, is more of a serious, I mean, not serious, but to me, it's a better album, and it's just, I don't know. If you like the serious stuff, stream that one, check it out. It's
Okay.
It's fucking awesome.
Very cool.
He's got a sister that is putting out music now too, under the name Catacombs, and it's pretty good from what I've listened to.
Did you meet him that night, or?
Nope.
No.
He's like Jason Larson height too. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So when he comes out on stage, it's just him, and it was just him, just really tall hand standing there, and then he had a banjo, an acoustic guitar, and an electric guitar, and he just kind of rotated through the three of them depending on what he was playing.
Wow.
He did a show in LA in the last month or two with a full band, but I think that was like might have been his first live show with like a full band, but it's normally just him doing all basic acoustic rendition of the songs, even though the album has, multiple instruments. But I was kind of worried about that going into the show, knowing it was just him, because I like, the drums and all that stuff, but like, he'll have a little kick drum that he triggers with his foot, while he's playing. But
Very cool. Any words, Jason?
No, it's definitely out of my wheelhouse, but and I try to, you can't label it. It's just so unique. It doesn't, not, it doesn't suck. It's just unique. And, I mean, I'll go back to it. Yeah. He's very serious.
Yeah, check out everything
To
is
the
fine.
point, especially that one, Letters from Death Row. And I'm like, good God, this is beyond heavy, to the point where it's like, I need to go listen to some Sabaton and be happy again.
He's got a song called "I Hope Your Husband Dies," and it's a song about hoping. And when he told the story before he did the song live, where he was talking about what caused him to write it, and about someone that he was friends with that he had feelings for, and all this, that, and the other. And then she ended up getting married. And then he said, and he seemed genuine with this, that like he said, ultimately that was the best decision for her, that she got married. But then he said, and ultimately her husband did die.
Wow.
But he was just kind of weird, because like when you watch him play, like you can tell how into it he is, because it doesn't come across like I know Kip likes the guy from Weed Eater, Dixie Dave, that it's kind of like a show or a shtick. But like him, when you watch him, how his eyes and like the emotion behind it, it seems real, but it's like he's so back and forth between this wide smile and happy and talking to the crowd, to like looking like the eyes are bulging out of his skull, like he's having like a psychotic break.
Like on the cover of the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's all you, Jay.
Wow. Well, my number one is not Amigo the Devil. Once again, back to thrash metal, Jay. One of my favorite American thrash bands that I've ever heard. Everybody talks about the Big Four, Bay Area. One of my favorites, along with Overkill, comes from the great state of Arizona. I like what Nick said in one of our previous episodes, in that there probably weren't bigger because of their name. And just as far as the thrash metal genre goes, this guy is the best singer. Now that I just sit there and think of it, nobody sings better than Eric AK in the world of thrash metal. I can't compare him. I can't compare anybody else to him. Maybe some people might go with Chuck Billy, but just nobody gets those highs like Eric AK does. And this last album, Kip just put it up. Larson's so organized that I've lost my copy of Blood in the Water. So yeah, my number one. I don't skip a song. They're all killer. And yeah, just love it. Just kind of waiting for them to tour again. I haven't seen them, my God, probably since, I think it was since the 90s. I think my ex-wife and I just got married, and they played a show at a little place called the Showcase Theater in Corona.
I've been there.
Maybe, have you?
Yeah, I saw Strife Earth Crisis there.
Okay. So yeah, maybe 98, 99. I haven't seen him in 25 years. So hope to see him again. Yeah. So that was my number one of 2021. I think it's a great return to form. I think it's their best album since Drift.
I thought the last album was a pretty good return to form too.
Yeah.
What was the name of that one?
It was a self-titled. No, I think you were thinking of the one before that. The one before was called The End of Chaos. Okay. And it has kind of like that monster from the first album. It kind of looks like that.
Even goofier looking.
Yeah, even goofier looking. But then the one before that is just the self-titled. That's the one that Nick might be thinking. That one's pretty good, but this one tops it, as far as I'm concerned.
He is a great vocalist, and I think he's way better than Chuck Billy. He actually is definitely more melodic and has way more range for sure.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a,
he
he's a
doesn't
great,
have he doesn't have his own air guitar picks like Chuck Billy does though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah, like I did like what Nick said. I think he said it out of like a joke, but it's totally true. Maybe it is the name, because that's just one of those bands that they deserve to be bigger than what they were.
Mhm. Well, his
Yeah.
vocals are like, you can tell that he's older. But they're like,
not quite as he's not quite as high,
but they're like battle.
but it's still power.
still
and
works.
It still
Yeah.
sounds like him. I mean, it's still him.
He's just, when this came out, I think they put some videos on YouTube of him in the studio, and it's just cool watching him kind of just belt it out. And
Mhm.
everybody that I've told about this, a lot of people that are like, oh, Flotsam and Jetsam, you know, I really only like the first couple, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hear this. And every single one of them were like, holy shit, dude, this is
Yeah.
said, yeah.
For those listening, Drift was what, 94? So we're talking 28 years between this and the next best album. I think it's better than Drift.
I think
I would thought this one's number 3.
this
This one goes under No Place.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think
Yeah.
this is the best thrash album of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
It rips. How many original guys are in the band? Isn't it just
Three, maybe 4.
No, I think it's Gilbert and Eric, and that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Who's the drummer now?
Ken Mary from like Chastain fame, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was in Chastain and
Yeah.
Fifth Angel and Alice
Yeah.
Cooper. Because he, like, I saw him on the Constrictor tour with Alice Cooper.
I mean, he
I
just,
didn't know it was Ken Mary.
Yeah, and he's really good on this album too. Well, everybody is.
yeah. And Eric AK just looks so cool. I don't know, man. He's
the thrash metal crooner. I don't know who else.
he's awesome, man. And I hope that they can kind of recreate it, because they've been on a hell of a run with these past couple.
These past 3.
But it's weird you said the number 3, Jason, because I was just thinking today, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it would, for me, it goes No Place, then Doomsday, then this.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's I mean, I would even though I had this on my short list, but I thought it was really good, but
Yeah.
to me, Flotsam has a lot of albums I just cannot stomach.
Right.
But this one is great. This one is a great album. So yeah, I would say it would be 3 to 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You know, it might be after When the Storm Comes Down, or it might be right on par with it. Because after that is
When you got tired of them.
I bought those albums like Drift and High and Unnatural Selection. But after that, there's those 2000 albums that other than Ugly Noise, that's the one I bought.
Right.
But yeah, this one is straightforward, and I didn't notice the lyrics as much, which has always been my issue with the last few albums too, is when you hear the lyrics, sometimes you're like, oh God, you know, like, please don't just
Please don't.
talk about the fucking postal service and make me happy.
Very good.
All right, Nick.
yeah, my third album, which was also my number 3 for the year. It almost made 2, which is funny because my 2 and 3 were both split off from the same band, Romanian band, Negura Bunget. But this one,
Wait, they're associated with Negura Bunget?
yes, these
Oh,
guys, these guys
no
left
wonder they
after the,
fucking sound like there's. Why don't you tell me these things in advance, motherfucker?
I didn't know you liked Negura Bunget. But after the album half the band left to form Dorda, and the other half left to do continued on with Negura, but also started Sir Astru, whatever. But Dorda was the was the more elite version that split off, even though I put Sir up there. But there's just some vitality between the members there. Anyhow, I'm surprised I love this album as much as I do. The first album was probably my top 5 as well, but that was like 8 years ago. And this came out, and if you like Enslaved, like it has a like more modern Enslaved sound for sure, with that kind of progressive, lots of clean vocals and some harsh vocals. And I'm into newer Enslaved, but it's always kind of disappointing because so many people jerk off to it. I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be really good. Listen to it, and about like 4 or 5 songs in, I'm kind of tired of it. But this new Door to Do album, Har, just is mesmerizing from start to finish, and it has my favorite track of the entire year, track 3, Discount. It just has this awesome chuggy riff, and then there's some hammered dulcimer in there, so there's some touch of folk metal in there as well. It's not a folk metal album, but there's some, you know, some folk instruments. There's some xylophone, the dulcimer, there's just some wood block and stuff going on in there. It's progressive, it's complex, but it's not wanky, it's not boring. It's riveting through and through. Great vocal harmonies, some awesome harsh moments. Just anyone that's into that, like I said, that newer Enslaved sound, but wants something a little more thorough and not quite so just meandering, this is the album for you, for sure.
Yeah, well, so good that I
You
ordered
got
it.
it.
So,
You're welcome. Once again.
the name always turned me off because for some reason I couldn't like door to duh.
Yeah, yeah, the duh part.
Like
Well,
duh.
the hardest thing is their first album, Door to Da. It's the first album is Dar da Da.
Yeah.
Door to Da is Dar da Da.
You have any idea what that means or
It's on Metal Archives. It's something about forest something. I don't know.
but
I think it's Romanian for octohedron. 'Cause
I
there's-
think it's
I was-
Romanian dick
I was just
ripper.
happy. I was just happy because there was an octahedron on the album cover, which happens to be a platonic solid.
All right, math guy.
Thank you. Just leave a tip at the door.
now I gotta be honest, I actually like this better. I love Enslaved, but this is way better than newer Enslaved, in my opinion. Newer Enslaved just kind of, I agree with you. It's like after maybe 4 songs, I'm kind of like, all right, I don't know. They're just kind of me. This whole album, I listened to it. It was like one of those albums. I'm working, you know, at my computer, and I just kept going, the hell is this? Like, this is awesome. What am I listening to again? I went, oh yeah, it's that Door to Duh. And
Door to door.
By the way, it means longing for spirit. My fault. Nothing about forests.
and then I thought, well, it's on Nick's list, so it's probably like $98 for you know. But then I looked on Amazon, it was $12, $12.98, and I thought, holy crap! So awesome,
Duh.
yeah. I thought, duh. Florida. No, it's excellent, man. Excellent.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of him until he put it out there, and I thought of about Enslaved too when I was listening to it. I was thinking about Rune and, you know, that from there on, and I was kind of like, God, you know, this is really good because I like all that Enslaved, but I also hear the criticisms of the meandering, you know, because it's a very honest criticism of modern Enslaved.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, a lot of people think that, you know, Nagura Bunget peaked with and the one before Incredu Berdali, or however you pronounce it. And those 2 albums are Nagura Bunget's best. And their new album, fuck it, Nagura Bunget's their swan song, because the drummer just died after he laid down the tracks. I just got it, and it was a snooze fest for sure. But then again, the other half put out that Sir Astru album, and it was my number 2. But
What did they die of, or what did he die of?
I don't know. Has dick ripped off, probably.
He
Or
listened-
Kip listed him somewhere. God, the drummer for Nagura Bunget, like, on all these albums, you know, met the dude, and then he died.
Let's see. He died of a heart attack at 42.
Oh,
I'm 42, so
fuck.
Wow.
it's funny. I actually saw Nagura Bunget with live in Portland, and the band from the board, Eclipse Eternal from Toronto. They toured with Nagura Bunget about 8 years ago or so.
Yeah. Voldemars. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hopefully you can see door to duh.
Yeah, I'm sure the U.S. market is just screaming for them to come out here.
Nick, I also have that one on order as well.
Mhm.
Man, I'm 3 for 3 tonight. Ah,
You might be surprised. I listened to the first track driving home, and I think the first track is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Listen to all 12 minutes.
Octahedrons just
Yeah,
bouncing back and forth.
I'm just
in your
like,
head.
well, you have like obviously a 3-hour ride home because you listen to like 17 tracks on the way home.
I do, yeah. Yep. I was like, God damn, that's a beautiful platonic solid on that cover. All those edges are congruent and all those faces are congruent. It's a beautiful thing. So, no, I actually enjoyed track number 1, but I'm like, for those people that are listening, I ended up buying 2 automobiles this weekend. First time in my life I've ever had a spare car, and I have been, I actually just purchased the second car yesterday. So it's been kind of an exhausting week for me. So I've been trying to catch up, listening to everybody's albums, and
Nothing to soothe the soul better than
a nice
a
track.
congruent octahedron.
And yes. So no, I mean, that was a good track.
Well, when you get a chance, go to track 3. Like I said, that's my favorite track of the year.
Which one?
Track 3. It's called
Yeah.
Discount.
Descant.
Yeah, it's great. Especially because I know you love Hammered Dulcimer.
And getting my dick ripped.
No, that's another excellent one. I'll kind of wrap it up here with this is my number 1 album of the year.
And the board's number 1 album.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away. This Greek black metal. This album is everything I like about. I mean, it just all the elements just hit home perfectly, and the album cover. I love the lyrics.
Great cover.
That
artwork is so rad.
Golf area. Even the photo on the inside, the artwork on the inside is awesome. Excellent guitar work. Band photos are awesome. Magus, and who was in Necromantia. I mean, he's kind of like a legendary, Greek black metal, in that scene. And then Jim Mutilator. Then,
Well, they were both in Rotting Christ, right?
yeah, at one point, yeah, they were both in Rotting Christ. Magus is in also the Necromantia. Bunch of other bands as well, but this is just, man, it's just awesome. It kind of gave me the feeling of like the first time I heard Moonspell. It just has that feel to it. The song, the Mantis, the Great Hunter. Oh my God, every song on here rules. Great guitar work. Magus's vocals are just
Drumming is fucking great too, man.
What's that?
Drumming is also just amazing.
Really good. I mean, it's I love Rotting Christ, but this to me is better than anything Rotting Christ has put out in a while. That's my opinion, even though I love all the newer Rotting Christ stuff. And Jason, if you were going to get into any black metal, I would say the Greek black metal would probably be more your thing, especially this. If you listen to this,
And I did. And I
You,
did.
you listened to one track on the way home today.
Yeah. Well, I did. I got one. I got one in. And you guys know, how really well-rounded I am with black metal. And I would say that I kind of felt like Immortal influences to me. Okay, nobody got a response out of that. So obviously I'm full of shit. So I don't know. I thought I heard Immortal, like the vocalist, maybe kind of sounds like Abbott,
I can kind of,
Again, I'm very limited. So, and that's a good thing, because actually I've been warming up to Sons of, as Daniel Beer used to say, Sons of Northwest Darkness.
Still waiting on my shirt from him.
what's it? This to me, they have an EP before this, which is under his sway, that came out in 2020. And I thought, man, I hope this is one of these bands that just puts out like one EP and then disappears, And when they came out with this, I was just so stoked. And I got it off Bandcamp, and it was dirt cheap. The shipping was cheap. And I think they shipped it from, it's Pagan Records, which I think is Polish, if I remember correctly, possibly. But it was like here in 2 seconds. I mean, it was quick. And I was at the gym earlier tonight, and I listened to the whole thing front to back. It's just so good.
Wait, how long were we at the gym? That's like 4 albums you listened to at the gym today. Were you blasting your lats for like 4 hours?
No, this ripped my dick off, so I had to.
Dick ripping this.
It's funny, Kip, when you sent me that, when the first single came out like April or something like that, and you said check this out, and I fucking thought like, oh my god, this song fucking rules. And by the way, the video was hilarious, just because like the singer is like in a fucking old 1920s suit,
Yeah,
but he's up doing that shit, and it was a great. I'm like, fuck, this is amazing. And then there he is. I didn't even fucking come back to the album. I'm like, and then when you guys all listed on the Brave board and it ended up being #1, I'm like, well, I obviously fucked up, because I love that one song before the album was released. And then I just totally forgot about it, and then went back to it, and it does fucking rule.
yeah.
Maybe the band can order some Zoot suits, and you have some Zoot suit black metal.
No, it's I mean, I'm a sucker for Greek black metal. So because it's not just blasting, it's got this all Greek black metal. It all sounds like Rotting Christ to me. Like Rotting Christ, like they have like a specific riff, just the way that they play things. And it's so unlike Norwegian black metal to me. It's so unlike Finnish black metal, like it has a lot of old school elements to it, like old school metal elements to it. But this is just excellent. I was really blown away to see that it got #1 on the Brave board. Well, on the, the Brave board. I don't know what Brave Words gave their #1. It was probably Maiden. Who the hell knows?
No, it was some other blue hair shit. I'll have to look at it. It might have been Flotsam. I think it was Flotsam.
No, if it's Flotsam, that's good. But I recommend it 100%. It's awesome, man. Definitely get on their band. It's excellent. What say you, Pat? Did you like it?
Yeah, no, I remember when you sent out that link, and I liked it then. Didn't really think much of it, because I was getting new things and hearing random things or whatever. And then when I saw it on the Brave board again being mentioned so much, I checked it out again. And then I think once Nick did the list, I listened, and then also went back to that EP and checked it out. And I was like, yeah, this is I couldn't find it anywhere though. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm stunted.
No, I'll send you.
Yeah, no, but it's very, you know, I mean, it's totally killer shit.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it's like right up my alley of, you know, something I'd come back to with some frequency.
I think I liked it too because it was definitely a Greek sound, but it wasn't just like at first listen like, okay, this is definitely Greek. There's some like Greek elements to it, but it definitely had their own stuff
Mhm.
within there. It wasn't like a Verathon or whatever that band is, like another just like within the first riff, you're like, okay, this is Hellenic black metal.
Yeah, this one, Varathron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that nice.
You want to be friends with those guys too.
Um,
Put them on the Sabaton cruise. Midnight at the pizza line.
The salad bar.
no, but this is I don't know, man. I was stoked to do this one. An excellent list. I think my favorites, other than the ones that I posted, my favorite out of Jason's is Yamaha Sahona. Out of Pat's, it would be the Ats Fix, and then out of Nick's was the Door to Duh. Definitely. So
Well, my three albums were just the three of mine, for sure.
I know your favorite is the Whitechapel. You don't have to lie, dude.
I got my Speedo Whitechapel set coming in.
But yeah, well, I don't know. What do you have in there? Do you have like a gong?
No, I just keep hitting it against the empty bottle of.
Oh, it's like,
Yes, I have a gong in my spare bedroom.
Perfect.
yeah, like Alex Van Halen's gong behind you. No, excellent, man. Yeah, we can do this again. I know next weekend I'm supposed to be finally doing the Monster Magnet episode. Getting that together with my friend Jason. After so many months of talks about it, hopefully we can get that together. But we should come up with something else pretty soon here.
Sure.
Kind of get back at it again.
Every 3 months when Pat buys an album, we'll talk about that album.
There you go. Albums for the month of February.
Oh, you got to go by quarter.
Yeah.
Quarter.
We'll have maybe two.
Excellent. Well, yeah, thanks again for doing this, guys. So,
Always. Thanks for having me.
all right. All right, guys.
Easy.
Got it.
Watching
Take care.
Easy peasy.
later.
Cheers.